Raya and the Last Dragon is the latest film from Walt Disney Animation Studios. It stars Kelly Marie Tran, Awkwafina, and an insanely talented ensemble cast. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content. Raya and the Last Dragon takes us on an epic journey to the fantasy world of Kumandra, where humans and dragons lived together long ago in harmony. Now, 500 years later, it's up to a lone warrior, Raya, to track down the legendary Last Dragon to restore the fractured land and its divided people. Along the way, she'll learn that it'll take more than a dragon to save the world. It's going to take trust and teamwork as well. Of course, this was a movie that was supposed to open last year in 2020 before the pandemic just completely upended everything. A bunch of movies got relegated to Disney+. Raya held strong and went for that theatrical release window. It is, of course, opening on Disney+ as well, simultaneously for those who are in areas where cinemas aren't open or you may still feel a little uncomfortable revisiting the cinemas. And at that, it is incredibly clear why Disney did decide to hold strong with Raya and the Last Dragon. Because if you think of classic Disney action, adventure, animated flicks, Raya and the Last Dragon absolutely ticks every single one of the boxes. This was like the grand return to Disney action adventure, unlike we've seen from the Renaissance period. So it just feels so at home with those Disney classic action adventure movies. And the action sequences in this movie are absolutely incredible. This is a movie that moves at absolute breakneck speed, and there are action sequences every like 10 or 15 minutes. Big set pieces, incredible stuff, unlike really anything that we have seen from Disney, perhaps in the CG animated form. And with that, the animation in this is absolutely spectacular. And I feel like I say this, because I do say this, every single time we get a Disney animated film or a Pixar animated film, I kind of like, how on earth does the animation just keep getting better from film to film to film? It's almost like you feel like you've hit the pinnacle of CG animation, and Disney does something to just completely knock you off your feet. The incredibly realistic background stuff, the way that the characters are lit, and shot framing and everything like that has been really incredible in these last few films. I feel like Raya doesn't make huge leaps. It's nothing groundbreaking like I felt that Frozen 2 was, but I feel like it's almost a continuation of the kind of style that was used in Frozen 2. The incredible thing about this, though, is that this entire film, or a majority of this film, was created at home. The animators were working remotely to create this film, obviously during the pandemic. What I really loved about this is that the movie actually makes quite decent use of traditional animation in a way that Disney hasn't for a long time. There's not a lot of it. There's like 2 sequences, maybe 3 sequences, where there is that, I guess it's that traditional CG hybrid animation. You think of something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but you will see it and you will just think, why doesn't Disney do this for their big screen animations anymore? I mean, I would die to see a film, a Disney animated movie, back up on the big screen, a theatrical release, not like a television thing, a theatrical release done in the traditional animation style that has been utilized here in a very small way in Raya. Do it, Disney. I don't know what you're scared of. The mix of characters here is so terrific. There is an eclectic mix of characters, and each one has been really well thought out and really well developed. They all have so many incredible layers, and each character really does stand on their own. And I feel like you could pluck any of the main kind of group of characters in this movie and plop them into their own movie, and they would really be able to hold their own. But that said, the 2 leads, of course, Kelly Marie Tran as Raya and Awkwafina as Sisu, just really, really, really gorgeous performances, particularly Awkwafina, her performance is so erratic, so zany, and so hilarious. There's so much comedy that comes from this character that you just know she has done so much ad-libbing for this. And the creators, the makers of the film, have been on record to saying that, you know, she did a lot of riffing, she did a lot of ad-libbing, and a lot of that has wound up in the movie as well. And it's so terrific to hear Kelly Marie Tran in a big film again. I mean, she's been, I feel like she hasn't had a big spotlight since The Last Jedi. But so it's amazing to see her front and center in a movie like this, it doesn't matter whether it's live action or animation or whatever, she really, really does get at her moment to shine. And I hope we get to see more from her going into the very, very near future, because she is such a wonderful performer. Like all great Disney movies, this has such a beautiful heart and such a beautiful soul, and it has this incredible message of family, togetherness, trust, and faith. That all these characters really go through this kind of, I guess, go through their own unique arcs in the movie. That said, it's a movie that moves at breakneck speed. It's got a long runtime, it's just under 2 hours long. It doesn't really feel like 2 hours though, because it really is going so fast, again at this breakneck speed. But I feel at times maybe this is to the detriment of the film in some respect, in that the movie, I feel like the movie takes a turn really early in its narrative that you wouldn't expect to happen kind of until later in the film. And the movie is kind of very different to what you would expect it would be. And it moves very, very quickly from the very beginning right to the end. It doesn't slow down. It powers through its story. And I feel like it almost, like there's so much packed into the narrative of this movie. And I feel like the speed that it moves at maybe is to the detriment of the narrative, of the storytelling. The pacing is thrown off a little bit because it just is moving so fast that I feel like the characters and the story maybe just didn't have enough time to breathe. And I felt personally, I didn't have a lot of time, no matter how wonderful the characters were. I kind of felt like I wasn't allowed enough breathing room, enough time to kind of have a connection, like a true connection with these characters, other than that kind of surface level kind of emotion kind of stuff. I felt like there wasn't enough time to really get to the core of these characters and to really learn about them and their backstory and really have that emotional connection that you need with them for this movie to pack that kind of extra punch right at the end. But again, that said, this is a really terrific movie, and I absolutely adored it. It's the movie that you expect it to be, and so much more. I know everyone is going to absolutely love this. If you have loved the Disney animation CG films of the last few years, you're going to love it. If you love the Renaissance classics, you're going to love it as well. This movie is something truly, truly special. And with that, I am incredibly happy to give Raya and the Last Dragon a 4 out of 5. Despite a breakneck pace and few opportunities to really connect with our leads, Raya and the Last Dragon is a true epic Disney action-adventure, cut straight from the mold of Renaissance-era favourites. With dazzling, breathtaking animation and an incredible cast of eclectic characters, Raya is an instant Disney classic. Raya and the Last Dragon will open in theaters and on Disney Plus on March 5th. Of course, it will land on Disney Plus as a Premier Access exclusive, which means you will have to fork out the $30 to view the film on the streaming service, but you will get unlimited access, viewing access for the film for roughly 3 months until it does land on Disney Plus for wide general access. But I do highly support you supporting this movie with your money, because it is a film that really, really does deserve it. That said, this is a movie that is begging to be seen on the big screen. It is a big, dazzling, epic film that really needs to be seen on as big a format as possible. If you have theaters near you and you feel safe to go and see a movie in a theater, I would highly, highly, highly recommend that. Thanks to the incredible team over at the Walt Disney Company Australia for putting on this incredible screening of Raya and the Last Dragon in person. It's amazing to be back at the theaters again, so thank you guys for organising this and inviting me along so I could do this little review right here. And thanks to everybody out there for watching. I'd love to know, weighing down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Raya and the Last Dragon? If you've seen it, if not, I want to know what your thoughts are going into it. Thanks again, guys. See you on the next one. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.